Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be filming an updated foundation routine video. I just thought that I should probably do this as the foundation routine that I posted was the first video that I've ever posted on YouTube. And I've kind of switched around my routine quite a bit since then. I'm using totally different products. I kind of like a less full coverage finish for springtime and summer. I don't wear this foundation every day. There's some days where I won't wear foundation at all if I'm not going anywhere, but this is kind of like my standard everyday foundation routine that I will do if I'm going out. So yeah, I hope you guys find it useful, and let's get started. Okay, so I've already cleansed and moisturised my skin. If you're interested in what products I use, I put up a skincare routine video a few days ago, so you can go and check that out. The first thing that I use is Stiela's Illuminating Tinted Moisturiser. This has SPF 15 in it, and the shade I use is shade 1. This is quite thick for tinted moisturiser, but I like the kind of coverage that it gives. It leaves you with quite a nice glow on your skin. So I take about that much, and then I use a Sigma 187 or MAC 187 and just dab that into the product and stipple it all over my face. And then I just blend that in kind of semi-circular motions into my skin. You can use your fingers for this because obviously it's only a tinted moisturiser, but I do like the finish that you get with these brushes. You get kind of a very flawless airbrushed finish. Okay, so once you've done that, I apply my concealer. Sometimes I apply my concealer after my foundation, but for this combination of products, I like applying it before. And the concealer that I'm using is the Laura Mercier Undercover Pot, which is in number 3. Now this has 2 different colours. I've used this in videos before. It has a more of a peachy colour here, which you're meant to use for under eye circles and things like that, and then a kind of more solid consistency flesh tone colour, which you can use for spots. I kind of like to mix these together as I find that gives you the best formulation of the product. This one is a little bit dry, and then the peachy coloured one is sometimes a little bit too liquid. So what I do is I just get the right colour by mixing the 2 products together, and then just place these under my eye. And then I blend with my ring finger. You can blend with a brush. The Sigma 224 is really good for blending under eye, but I find it easier to blend with your fingers as the heat kind of melts the product into your skin. It gives you a bit more of a natural finish. Let's do the other side. You don't have to be very precise when you're placing this, because when you are blending it with your finger, you can kind of redistribute it a little bit if you've missed a certain area. And just be really gentle around your eyes. You don't want to pull them too much. Because I have a little bit of discoloration on my lids, I also put a little bit of concealer there and then just blend that in. This can also be quite a good base for eyeshadow. It won't have such a good staying power as if you use Urban Decay Primer Potion or a paint pot or whatever, but if you don't have any of those products, you can just pop a little bit of concealer on your lid, just so that the eyeshadow's got something to stick to. Okay, so when I've done that to my eyes, I just go a little bit around my nose and then blend those in. And then any kind of blemishes I have. My skin's actually pretty good at the moment. I'm loving my skincare routine at the moment. It's leaving me with kind of very glowing skin. I can't say enough about Liz Earle cleanser. I'm just absolutely loving it. But if you want to know more about that, just check out my skincare routine video. Okay, so the next thing I do is I take Chanel's Pro Lumiere foundation. I've had this for quite a while now. I've kind of moved from using Studio Sculpt to this. Initially because the colour that I had in Studio Sculpt just wasn't working for me at the moment because I've got a bit paler recently, and this is a better colour match for my skin tone. But it's also kind of like a very glowing effect foundation. It's quite, if I just put a pump out, I do about half a pump for my face. I don't put too much on unless I'm going out at night. But it's very liquid, but it's also quite a thick consistency. It doesn't really make sense that it's liquid and thick at the same time, but yeah, you have to kind of like test it out to see it. Like, it feels quite heavy when you're putting it on, but once you've got it on, it doesn't feel that heavy, if you know what I mean. So anyway, the colour that I use is number 20. 20, yeah. And I use about this much. And I just use the same 187 brush and stipple this into my skin. I concentrate on kind of the middle of my face and my cheeks first. And then on my nose and my chin and my forehead. And then a little bit under my chin there as well. Once I've stippled that in, I just do the same motions to buff that into my skin and blend it all in. This foundation is actually quite a full coverage foundation, but it's a very natural kind of finish. Like I said, it's very glowing, kind of leaves you with that really pretty sheen to your face that kind of makes you look dewy. Yeah. So just buff this in. Okay, so once I've done that, I also use a little bit of Chanel's Bronze Universal, or Soleil Tan de Chanel, which it's called now. Yeah, so for anyone that hasn't tried this, it's kind of like a cream bronzer. You can put this under your makeup. It's sold as a makeup base, but it is actually more like a bronzer. What I use this for is to contour my cheeks. I don't use it all over, otherwise I end up a bit orange because I am very pale. If you are kind of a medium skin tone, this would be a really, really nice base for your foundation. So anyway, to do this I use the 168 brush from Sigma or MAC, and I just kind of like dab this in the product. So I have about that much. And then I just start to contour my cheeks. So I just go from my ear to the corner of my mouth. Obviously I'm not going right to the corner of my mouth. And then I just kind of blend anything away that's too much product, because you don't want to end up with like a really dark patch. It wants to be quite subtle. Okay, so once I've done that, just take a little bit of product onto my temples, and then my forehead, and then on the other side. And then anything that's left on my brush, I just sweep really gently down my nose, across my cheeks, forehead, and then on top of that. Okay, so my laptop just died and I put some eye makeup on, but I'm carrying on from where I started off. The last thing that I do to set my foundation is I use Laura Mercier's, is it translucent powder? Loose setting powder, basically translucent powder, which comes in the bottom of this little undercover pot. You can buy this separately as well. And I just take a Sigma 150 and just get a little bit on there, and just dab this on where your foundation would naturally kind of start to rub off during the day, which is kind of just your T-zone, and then I kind of buff it out a little bit. I don't use too much of this because you don't want to end up looking chalky, especially if you're using something like Pro Lumiere, which does leave you with quite a glowy finish. You don't want to be kind of just like defeating the whole point of you using such a nice foundation and covering it in powder. So you just want to put enough to set it, but not to kind of overpower the effect that you're getting from the foundation. Okay, so that is it for my updated foundation routine. If you have any questions for me, just ask in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!